Today's card of the day is Ancient Gold Dragon. 5 and a white for creature elder dragon with flying. Whenever Ancient Gold Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You create a number of 1/1 blue fairy creature dragon tokens equal to the result. 7/10. I will say I don't think it's the strongest personally. I think this card is one of the most beautifulest. I don't know if that's a word, but I do like the look to it. It seems more, maybe not in this picture, more regal and more of the full art pictures. And I'm a big fan of like the regal white design. It's very like stoic, very cool in my opinion. Anyways, I think this card is a little lackluster. I think for 7 mana, you want to have something that sort of doesn't really need a reliance on something else. And I feel like this is exactly where that is. If you see the other dragons that are sort of known to be pretty good, you see like the blue dragon, it draws cards, doesn't really need anything else to stand by itself. It sort of fuels your game plan, and you don't really need to build around it. Where this card is definitely something where I feel like you need to play red or black, something that can use what it's dealing with. And you have to have haste too, I think, for this, right? Like if you make a bunch of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens, like even if they come in, it's like you have block fodder, but unless you're playing with other colors, they don't really do much. Like at this point in the game, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of creatures on the field, and some probably have trample. I'm assuming you want to swing with this aggressively because you want to get the tokens, and that means you're probably leaving yourself up for a swing back and later in the game. That's gonna be pretty rough taking. So I think you're gonna use them mostly for blocks. I could be wrong here, but I think it's gonna be mostly for blocks. With that being said, if you do play red, I think this is gonna be significantly better, significantly stronger. You have haste, so it comes in, deals damage quickly, and it's got a big butt. It's probably not dying. But as soon as it deals damage, you make an average 10 creature tokens. And when you make 10 creature tokens, if you're playing red, you've got a bunch of ETBs, Dragon's Tempest, which does pretty nicely on a board with a bunch of ETBs triggering at once. You have Cathar's Crusade, it's a lot of stuff. And then you have stuff like black related sack abilities, which adds a whole plethora of new things you can do with this. I think it's mostly going to want to be used in like more Mardu kind of decks, where like red has the ability to help create treasures and I guess sort of impulsive draws, and black has the ability to use those sacks for like more devious things. With blue, I think this could be a little too slow and not do too much. I mean, you could protect it, and maybe you can use a block fodder for it, but I don't know. And for green, I could see it being used in green if you want to go big and heavy. I guess wide and tall, where like you create a bunch of 1/1s, and then the green one helps those 1/1s get taller. So I could see that. I could see that. It's definitely like a cool Selesnya, build a huge army kind of thing going on there. That's neat. That's neat. So I don't know. I don't know what to rank this. I think this is pretty much a lower to battlecruisery type of dragon. I think it's pretty good defensively, but the fact that it's defensive is rough because all these are cycles, so they have to be related to each other. And their cycle is to deal combat damage to a player. And because it's defensive, usually it'll swing in, it'll take out whatever it's swinging, but its butt is so big, you don't want to use it defensively. It's gonna stick around, but like it's too costly, and you want to swing with it. So I think there's like this weird decision making here, that you want to like block with it. It's a good blocker, but it wants to attack. So I don't know what to think about that. I'm not quite sure what to think about that. I think this card definitely needs to have a dedicated deck around it, unlike other few dragons. But I think it could be probably in the middle of the pack of all the dragons. I think, even towards the end probably. But I will say if you are able to get this out and hit with haste, and you were able to live another round, I'm assuming you're gonna have a deck built around that, and then like this is living. There definitely needs to be a reason to why like your opponents aren't dead after that, because swinging with all these, that's gonna be at least I want to say 10 damage at that point. Assuming you do go over the average, which is like 10 creatures, and they're not dead. It's like you probably could have played almost anything else and won the game. Like Craterhoof is I think 8 mana. This is 7, and it's not quite the Craterhoof, which unfortunately it's green. Green has a lot of good stuff like this, but it just isn't as impactful as that sort of thing. That's what I feel like I want to see out of a huge beast like this. But of course, Dragon Tempest, so you have the game. There's other bunch of ETB triggers that can happen with this that makes it super scary if you do untap with it after a swing. Um, maybe that I feel like that's definitely has to be where this goes. Anyways, of course, let me know what y'all think about this comment below. Catch y'all later.